Welcome to Scissor Hands and the Just Ask series of videos that we're doing. As we promised earlier, we're going to be doing a lot more new content for all you hairdressers and barbers out there, because we've had a lot of questions from people wanting us to share as much of the information as we can to help you in your salon business to get the most out of your hair cutting, whatever that is that you do in your salon, whether it's men's or women's hair. So I'm going to start with a feature we get asked a lot about, because when it comes to choosing the right scissor, and in particular the solid blade, a lot of people have some unusual, shall we say, ideas about how to get the right size. I've come up with a very, very simple way to choose the right size scissor. And by that I mean the kind of scissor that is going to be safe to use, going to be accurate, and so on. If you're watching this video now and if you're right-handed, you look at your left hand here, if between your middle finger knuckle and where it joins your hand, if you get little love to cut that. If you get little red V cut marks in your fingers here, or in the palm of your hand, you cut yourself here, your scissors are 5.5 inches or smaller. And that might be because back in the day, somebody said to you that you should be using a small scissor, or they said, I use a small scissor, you should use one. All of that, in my opinion, our opinion, is wrong, very outdated. And what we look at, and what I particularly looked at years ago, was how do you get a practical scissor that's going to do the job, cut you a straight line safely. So let me demonstrate. If you are the kind of hairdresser, barber that uses a small scissor like this is a 5.5. Okay, so this size, if I hold it against my hand, I don't have particularly large hands, but if I hold a small 5.5 inch scissor there, you can see that it doesn't reach to the end. That's why a lot of scissors that travel, you see hairdressers, the scissor travel in this direction a lot. Well, that simply means 1, 2, ouch. You're going to cut your fingers here. And if you point cut, all of you point cut, right? I'm not asking. Okay, if you do, you're going to be using this small blade, and in it goes like this, like you're pecking at the section to try and get it cut. Now, when you think about that, that's so small that you're going to do 2 and 3 cuts. That's where you get your problem. Now, if you move from here, 5.5 to 6, 6.5, and even up to a 7, by the way, that's what I use all the time. What you'll find is the only thing you need to measure is this gap here, where you get this gap between your index and middle finger, right up to the base of your index finger here. This is where you simply hold a section of hair. Here's the rule. Take your ruler and measure along here, okay? And you measure just in that gap there, as you can see. Simple rule of thumb. If this gap here is 6, I'm just reading it now, 6 centimeters, okay, fair enough. 5.5 inch scissor is the minimum you can use, right the way up to a 7. If the gap here is 6.5 centimeters, that's from here to here, you can use a 6 inch scissor minimum up to a 7. If it's 7 centimeters, then you can use a 6.5 up. And if it's 7.5 centimeters here, you really should be starting with a 7 inch. But remember, even if you have small hands, I'm talking about a minimum size. And the minimum size means that when you're cutting, you are able, in this case, we may have an average size hands, 6.5. Look guys, girls, if I rest this here, that fits almost perfectly. And this little ridge here, where your blade shape starts near the pivot, that rests on your fingernail. Look, that's where it stops. I can cut that section in how many goes? Yeah, 1, not 2 or 3. And that way it's almost impossible to cut my fingers. So I hope that little tip on choosing the right scissor length for you, and remember, it's all about what you feel comfortable with, and I've given you the minimum sizes to use. I recommend the larger it is, the better, because it's more comfortable and safer to use. For more information, click and like us below. Look at the website for more information, and we'll see you in the next video.